When you hear the phrase first-gen American, what comes to mind? Oscar Velasquez, a first-generation American, wants to enlighten your mind to everyday life as a first-gen in today's America. There is a perception in today's society, and Oscar is going to dive in and dissect the reality of being a first-gen. Join Oscar and his guests from all walks of life, discussing their trial and tribulations in today's America. Now your host, Oscar Velasquez.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of First Gen American. I'm your host, Oscar Velasquez. You're currently watching us live through Facebook, and also we're streaming on Instagram. Today's guest, she's a 32-year-old single mother entrepreneur who's changing the local beauty scene with her small business. Please welcome Natalie Caceres.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. I'm excited to talk about, Natalie, I've known you for a while, but I just love to see my friends, starting off their business and transitioning to e-commerce, and especially with like all natural products. Right. I'm so thankful that you can join us and talk a little bit about your products. But before we get to the products, and talk about your business venture, I want to have the listeners get to know a little bit about you and your background. So let's get right into it. So tell me a little bit about you. Who is Natalie Caceres?
So Natalie Caceres is, my mom is Dominican, from Dominican Republic. My father is from Guatemala. So I have the best of two sides. So I have the Central American, and then I obviously have the Caribbean in me. Right. I was born and raised in New York City, which is Uptown Manhattan, Dyckman on Nagle Ave. What else can I say?
When did you move to Nashua from?
I was young.
Yeah.
I was young. Yep. So I did schooling here, and that's another thing I want to put out there, because a lot of people are listening that I went to high school with. They were all messaging me yesterday, and they're like, "It's so weird hearing you getting called Natalie," because when I moved out here, they had told me that I had to go by the name Stephanie, which is my legal first name. Even when like some of my clients do payments, everything is Stephanie. So they'll be like, "What
is this a scam?
Who is that?" Yeah, like, wait, hold on. And I was like, "No, it's me, I swear." So, but the thing is that ever since I was born, I was literally called Natalia by both of my parents. So even like my brothers, when they'll be like Stephanie, it's so weird. So yes, it's me.
I got to bring something up, because I was I talked to my producer, and we were going back and forth, because you're a busy woman. It was tough getting you in here. We finally got you in here. We were like, let's talk about our products, because this is amazing. But Jasmine was like, "I just got her email, Oscar, and it says Stephanie." I was like, no. Her name is Natalie. I've known you for the majority of your life.
Oh, yes.
And I've always known you by Natalie. So all of a sudden, when the email said Stephanie, I was like, no, we're emailing the wrong person. No, Oscar, her first name is Stephanie. Are you kidding me? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? So that's what I mean. Like, everyone's like, Natalie. Yeah. I'm like, no. But it's been so long that now everybody gets it. Yeah. But there's still some people where they're like, "I thought your name was Stephanie." Like the other day, my homegirl at Butter and Jam, unfortunately they closed due to COVID, but I ended up finding her cute organic cafe on Amherst Street, and she's like, "Stephanie." And I found this so weird, because I'm like, "Oh my God, hey." Yeah. But there's little reminders in there that it's like, your name is Stephanie.
We were transitioning to start talking about the products, and and what inspired me the most was that when we were talking in the green room, you said, "Oh yeah, I'm Guatemalan, I'm Dominican, and all these traditions and the organic inspiration for the products was because I grew up like that." So what inspired you the most? You have the best of both worlds, Central America, the Caribbean. What inspired you? Who inspired you to have that, that entrepreneurship and say, "You know what, I want to share these natural remedies with the world"?
Well, it kind of came from like a little bit of everywhere. I've been doing this for a while. The whole oil, back in the day, I used to do the avocado, like literally smash avocados, put the egg in it, and all the mayonnaise and all the oils. But a lot of it came from it, believe it or not, was just being raised the Hispanic way. If and anyone could say this, There's always a grandmother. If you have an ear infection,
right.
put a clove of garlic in your ear. And if you were to Google this, it really works. Like when you're young, you think like, how?
Right.
Like grandma's crazy. But now that I'm older, I'm like, there's so many natural remedies to so much stuff. And if you really think about it, back in the day, in our grandmother's age, a lot of that is what was being used. A lot of natural remedies. Just like another good one, you get burned, like we were talking about. First thing your mom, go put some toothpaste on it. Right. You know, it's like little things like that where it's like, really? And then you really look it up and you're like, these things really do work. So it's like a little bit of everything. I was always a product junkie as well. I always had a lot of hair. So my hair is actually naturally very big and curly. I usually blow dry it. So I was putting a lot of heat in my hair. I did a lot of things that I should have never done, which was like sewing, dyeing it, just growing up. You know, you want to change your look. And I ended up messing up my hair. But as you can remember, when I was young, I always had long, beautiful black hair. Right. And I ended up growing up, messing it up really bad. And it was with all these chemicals, all these processed things, as in the keratin, the Botox of the hair. Believe it or not, there's Botox for the hair. The dyeing, the bleaching. And then I got really sad one time because I kind of went off, and I went light brown, and I did a sewing. I never needed to put any extra hair in my hair, but I did it for the look. It was in, and it came to a point where the breakage of my hair, even to the back, I had spots that were like gone in the back, and it was the worst experience I ever went through. And
for the listeners that are listening right now, sorry to interrupt. Tell the listeners, what is a sewing? I mean, I know.
So a sewing extension, basically what it is for me, sewings, you could do it from the top of your head down to the back of your neck. A lot of girls do that. Some girls don't need that. They need the extra volume, so they just do like what I did, was the half of the head down, and it's all braided. They take the hair, which is not your hair, and then they take a needle, a pretty thick needle at that, and they put this heavy hair on the braid. So they sew it into the braid, right? So what you don't realize is, I was new to this. So the water, when you wash this hair, makes it even heavier. That's where the breakage comes. Because now it's literally hanging off these braids. The growth of the braid. So when the braid starts growing, it's hanging off the new growth, which is going to end up broken as well. So that's what I did. So by the time they took out that sewing and they took out that braid, it was over for me. I literally had patches, Oscar.
There's
thin. I had to cut my hair this short. And then I didn't trust nobody, and I was like, I did this to myself. So I just started going back to what I was doing before, and this is where I am now.
There's nobody that spends more money on their hair than a Hispanic woman. That's a fact. My mother religiously, I'm like, Mom, this it's a little dangerous out there right now, No, my hair lady, she takes one person at a time. She goes, she's got her mask on, she's got her shield on. I mean, it's hot because of the blow dry, and and for Hispanic women, you have thick curly hair or something. And my sister, my mother, and some of my family members, they religiously I get it. But it's nice to see finally some organic products. I mean, some traditions I never knew. I mean, I've seen other people, I've seen hair products, with shampoos that are all organic, and we were talking about it, but I've never actually seen hair products where, I'm looking at the products right now, and there's actually rice and jasmine in there, which is, everything's transparent. And as a business owner nowadays, you're afraid that you're getting something that you expect it to be real, and then you find out. We were talking about it earlier. My wife's like, she makes a trip to Target, and she's like, do you need anything? And I said, I think can you get me a new body wash that's plant-based? Because I've seen plant-based body washes all over. And she goes, yeah, sure. So then I'm looking at the product, and I'm like, it says in the front, plant-based. And then I look at the back, and it has all these chemicals that I can't even pronounce. And I'm like, what am I putting in my body? And another thing that you were talking about is, as growing up, we hit puberty. All of a sudden, our sweat... all of a sudden we get this stench. We're like, oh, it's okay. It's my time.
Going back in the day.
Yeah.
My grandmother literally grabbed my brother.
Yeah.
and put lemon on him.
Exactly.
Or
my grandmother did the same thing.
You know, use the green,
yeah,
lime.
Yeah.
And then you were like, yeah, I've heard of that. And that's
works.
a natural remedy. And if you look it up, it works. Like,
Absolutely.
That's literally a remedy for that.
I thought it was funny, you know, scrubbing lemons on my armpits growing up.
Hey.
But it actually works. Thank you, Grandma. Because I was like, you know, I'm too young to kind of put deodorant on, but I think it's time, you know. And what do? Do you go with the non-clear one? Do you go with the clear?
And now they're doing the aluminum free, because they're saying that a lot of the products and chemicals that they're using on deodorants is causing breast cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why if you go to the pharmacy, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, if you see aluminum free, it's because they actually put that in deodorants. So now now if you notice, if you go anywhere to buy anything, it's so much of sulfate free, paraben free, aluminum free, free of this, free of that. But this
Substitute
is what we were using
this.
back in the day, and we thought it was cool.
Right.
But now the sale of everything is to go the organic, natural way.
Right.
That's what's selling. Because people are actually studying. Do you see how much social media we have? So people are actually looking these things up, and they're no good.
Right.
Sulfate, I was looking more into it. Sulfate now, they did a study on it. You guys can actually look that up, and they're saying that they're gonna try to make shampoos all sulfate and paraben free, for the reason being that it causes so much damage, specifically to the eyes and the scalp, that it goes internally, and it's no good for you at all. So it's. I always tell people, just look up the stuff, and you'll see everything.
Right.
And cancer now is at its most high than ever. Think about it. Did you ever really hear about cancer back in the day when you were little? Not really.
Not really.
Now you do, and it's because more for the buck in America. That's how I say it. More for the dollar.
I was you know, I was co-owners in a hair studio, and I was talking,
right, yeah.
and I was talking to my partner, and some of the clients that we had, they were losing their hair. And then we had this whole package with like, let's, you know, instead of doing a cut, let's do a cut and shampoo. And then we're sponsored by this brand. And we're putting the brand products all over the studio. And I'm saying to myself, let me look deeper into this brand to see what they're affiliated with. And for legal purposes, I'm not going to say their name. But so I looked into this brand, and we're doing a shampoo wash and part of the package. And I'm saying to myself, I wonder if this brand that provides shampoo and conditioner purposely puts chemicals to have your hair fall off, so that it's the next step to getting hair prevention treatment, like a product that we commonly know that it's a foam that you rub in your scalp, and it causes hair growth, supposedly. But all of a sudden, it has all these side effects.
Yeah.
And then I want to look deeper into it. And I said, what happens if that causes cancer? And now they're invested. And this company was invested in every single company. If you were losing your hair, it could have been the products, but you'll never know that, because you're entrusting that it's an all organic tea tree product.
That's why I always tell people, check the ingredients. It doesn't matter if it's labeled plant-based.
Yeah.
Check the ingredients.
But that's crazy. What was a crazy moment? What was something weird when you were growing up that your mom said, no, mija, no, sweetheart, put this in your hair. It's gonna help it, or do this remedy. It's gonna work. Mayonnaise. I've heard of mayonnaise. I remember my mom. My mom's listening to this. Yeah. I remember my mom walking around. Her hair was drenched in mayonnaise with a Market Basket bag.
Yes, classic.
Mom, I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah, the classic Market Basket
she's
bag,
like,
yeah.
I was like, Mom, what are you putting mayonnaise on your hair for? She's like, you don't know, but one day you'll know.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, but her hair, to this day,
and
it's
if
beautiful.
You look it up again, it's amazing.
Right.
It's rich in protein. It has everything. Literally, it's the best.
So tell me a little bit about your products. What which one came first? And what
the first one that came was the Heron Sculpt treatment mask.
Okay. What is that for?
This is actually one of like the best sellers that I have. So this one is basically, it's.
Can I see that?
Mm-hmm. It's mayo based, and then it just has a ton of amazing oils in it that are all organic.
It smells really good.
Super beneficial in every type of way.
It smells really good.
That's why I put scalp and hair treatment on it, because it benefits the scalp, but it also benefits the hair as well.
So how does this work? How does this treatment work?
So what you do is, and I love that you're asking this, because a lot of people, believe it or not, I get so many questions every day on, can I do it on dry hair? Can I leave it overnight? Yes, it's all natural. Okay. No, it's not refrigerated. A lot of people think that because the rice water has to be refrigerated and it's natural that this has to be refrigerated. It does not need to be refrigerated. It's like a regular mask. This is what I do on my day that I have to wash my hair. So today so actually, hold on. 2 days ago, I had this for a day and a half in my hair, believe it or not. And it was because I was just cleaning, doing laundry, doing stuff at the house. Then I was like, okay, it's time to wash it out. But I did it on dry hair. And then what I did was what I do is, if it's a day where I'm like, okay, my hair really needs to be clean, I haven't really been treating it because I'm busy, I take a little bit of my hot oil, which is grapeseed, olive, and jojoba oil, which is amazing. I put a little bit in the mask, or sometimes I'll do the oil first, put the mask. Point is, I left it in my hair. Right. The thing is, people say, oh, but it says 20 minutes. No, it's 20 minutes to get the full benefits. Got it. After that, it's all natural. It's not going to do any type of damage except give you the benefit that you need. But it has to be left for 20 minutes. After I would say 15, 20 minutes. After the 15, 20 minutes, you can wash it out. You can do whatever you want, or you can leave it for even longer. That's what I did. But if you're in a rush and you're like, then you can go ahead and wash your hair, condition it, slap the mask on while you shave, wash your body, you brush your teeth, and then wash it out, and then you're done. So it's pretty practical. Okay.
So I've seen a lot of men as you get older, a lot of men they battle with dry scalp. And a lot of women battle with dry hair. So what are the benefits? I mean, can a man and female use this? Long hair, short hair?
Yep.
Obviously, it's organic, but from when you hear about mayonnaise in the hair and and products like this, you feel like, okay, what are the benefits for a man with this product, with this hair scalp treatment?
Everything. The hot oil, I have actually men that use it on their beard. On if they're trying to get the full beard on the hair, they use it on their patches. So sometimes men have patches. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I have a.
You have a full grown. Okay. Well, there's men out there that have the little bit of patches. Yeah. And they can use it on that. They also use it as a glosser. I have one guy that had told me the other day, he was like, I went to a bar and he's like, I used it a little bit as a glosser. And he's like, I had to hit you up and let you know that a girl loved the smell. And he was like, I didn't know how to break it down to her to let her know that it was like a hot oil, because I felt like just saying that she would think that I was using a girl product. And I'm like, no, it's versatile. The thing is that when you hear things like that, like, oh, you're using a mask, you think like, why are you using a mask? But it's versatile. It's the ingredients that count. It's all beneficial. It doesn't matter. People use it on their kids. It's a great detangler for kids, especially with mine. Like I was telling you, also going into the products, the multi-use of the products. The hot oil, people use it on their cuticles. It's so organic. I have my cousin Valerie. She uses it as a face moisturizer. Right. It's amazing. Same thing with the rice water. I was telling you, a natural toner as well. The Sculpt toner. It has organic apple cider vinegar with a carrier oil of coconut, and I did that so when people have psoriasis or eczema, sometimes they flake, or sometimes they're itchy to the point where the skin is freshly, like when it turns red and it can crack. Yeah. The coconut carrier oil that I use in there is so it won't sting. So it's also great as a toner. If you have acne-prone skin and you have a blemish that is raw, it's red, it's new, it won't let it sting. So that one's really good too. It's again multi-use.
I've seen the rice water. I've seen females. I saw some of your posts, and you have a strong following when it comes to these products. And I was like, wow. I saw some females that spraying it on their hair, and then all of a sudden, all over their face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
because it's great as a toner.
Some of these products, some of these products that we see here, is there a step to them? I should try the mask and then the rice water, or, I mean, you can all try it all at once.
The Sculpt toner is great by itself.
Okay.
For the simple reason that you want that to sit on the scalp. It has a lot of antifungal in it, which again is good for eczema, psoriasis. So you really want that to penetrate on the affected areas. It's also great for people that do weaves, that do extensions, that do wigs, all that stuff. Because when they go in, and a girl actually explained this to me because I didn't really know. I had did that one sew-in and never did anything again with the experience that I had. But she was telling me like, hey, you know, you should, she was the one that inspired me because she's like, you know, I do a lot of braiding on my hair and I do it usually like once every 2 weeks because I use wigs, but I also do the sew-in weave. But I take good care of my scalp. Since she was little, she suffered a lot from very dry scalp. And it was because obviously, you know, when you wear a wig, it's covered for a while. Right. And then you have that braid on top of the scalp. So she started getting a lot of like little sores from the tightening of the very itchiness, dry, all that stuff, flaky. And she was like, you really need to do a Sculpt toner. And I swear you'll sell. And she was right because you don't realize how many people out there actually have problems with their scalp, and it's all again
men, women.
Yes, and it's all again with the products that they're using. So I always tell people try to get a shampoo and conditioner that's sulfate and paraben free, because you can use the Sculpt toner, let's say, right, or you can use the hot oil, the rice water, the mask. If you go wash your hair with a product that's full of products, that completely strips the scalp, even from your natural oil that you need to nourish your scalp. So what happens then? All this is good for nothing because it's even stripping away the natural oil that your scalp produces that you actually need to nourish and moisturize it. Right. So that it comes to play with the products that you had in the salon that you owned before. And then you'll never know. So the Sculpt toner helps a lot with that. What else can I say?
We just get consumed with the name brand, and you know, when we switch it to the back and then we look at
the ingredients and you're like
chemicals that we're putting in our body. It's crazy.
And yet still the front will say plant-based. And you're like, where?
It's misleading. It's misleading.
But, you know, sometimes we're in a rush when we're in stores and we're like, plant-based? Yes, I'll take it. But in reality, it's like, well, take 2 seconds and just look at the first 2 ingredients. What is it usually?
If you can't pronounce
alcohol, right there.
Alcohol, right.
You know? Sulfate, parabens.
Yeah.
The other one you had said with the B, I always pronounce it
benzo.
That one's huge.
If anybody in the chat is listening, help us out here. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And the crazy part is, especially my wife, she before she used to bleach her hair. And people were like, oh, is it organic? Is it natural, should I say? No, it costs a lot of money. It costs, trust me, I know. It costs a lot of money to keep that hair blonde. So I'm like, she said, you know what, I want to relax my hair and I just want to go back to my natural colors. And then we substituted, you know, the hairstyling, you know, every 2 weeks to the products that cost as much as the visits every 2 weeks. So I'm like, we were cutting back and I'm like, yeah, but you know, we still got to keep my hair soft. And I was like, what are you putting in your hair? And you just have like purple shampoo
which is great for the blonde.
And then, so tell me a little bit about, you know, for somebody like my wife, that she dyes her hair all the time, or, you know, now she wants to get her natural roots back in the field. What would be some?
Stop the bleaching. The bleaching, it dehydrates the scalp. It literally, again, strips all the moisture, keratin, everything.
Keratin, that's another product that we
and we naturally produce our own keratin for our hair. So it strips all of that. So you're left with weak, brittle hair. You might like the color, but then yet again, your ends are fried and all of that. And then your hair's not curling because it's dead. So the best thing I would do is just stay away from all the chemicals. It's tough. It's tough because then you're like, nope, it's easy to give up because then you're like, no, I'm good. I'm not doing this natural stuff. I need my blonde back. But then you end up cutting and cutting and cutting. And then you end up with no choice but to trusting the process of natural ingredients and products.
Absolutely. I'm thinking of my wife's, I'm thinking in my head, my wife, she's probably like, my hair is great. I was like,
the style.
No, her stylist is great. She does a good job. But I see the transition on a lot of.
But not only that, like if you're taking well care of your scalp and you're getting a good treatment, you know, putting back those proteins, taking care of the moisture, all of that, you'll be good. It's just sometimes as well, it's all in the products that you use. Because you don't want to do all that and then go home and use Head and Shoulders. And then a great mask. It makes no sense. Right. You're actually damaging your hair even more. She could come and use my mask. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to bring back all of that. Because all this right here is protects the keratin, proteins, a whole bunch of hydrating oils, which are amazing. Prevents hair loss. It's so much. That's why on my labels, I like to put every single thing that's in it. Because I tell people, just look one oil up and just see the benefits of one oil in my mask. Right. And you'll see not one. It's a whole bunch of benefits from it. So it's just great. I'm just trying not to have her be like, I'm not bleaching my hair anymore.
Oh, no. I mean, she could do whatever she wants. I think she has natural blonde hair. I think just going brighter is the problem.
Right.
You know, but no, this is truly, you know, what you're doing is what a lot of other ethnicities that wanted to step in to the Hispanic culture and the traditions and the natural remedies and all this. This is a gateway to that. You're basically allowing the world to have some of your family's remedies. We all have our ingredients. You know, we talked about when I had a motorcycle accident, you know, a couple of years back, my face was all messed up. I had road rash on the whole left side of my face. That to the point where the hospital they couldn't use what they use like a grinder to take the tar off your face. Sorry, I'm getting graphic, but they could. Anyways, I went home like that, and my grandmother comes and she goes, "No, she has an aloe plant."
I knew it.
Whose grandmother does? Whose Hispanic grandmother doesn't have an aloe plant at the house? Please, my grandmother, she slices one of the aloes, and she's like, she cuts it in half. She comes over, and she starts scraping it with the spoon. She starts whipping it, and she's like, "Put this in your face." It smelled horrible, and I was like, "All right." So I'm putting it in my face. She says, "Let me tell you something. You put this twice a day, in the morning and at night. For about 2 weeks, your face will come back like if nothing ever happened." I thought to myself, my face was never going to come back.
It's the best natural remedy for any type of burn or scar.
It's crazy.
Fresh scar. And if you look at you now, you don't even have not one scar, and I'm sure it was the aloe. I have aloe oil absolutely. In this mask. Yeah. I have aloe oil.
I couldn't imagine. And then if I would have put some chemicals, you know, in my face,
it would have irritated it. And you probably would have thought it was from the accident, but it was actually the product.
Well, the wound was so open that the doctors couldn't recommend anything to put on my face and just say everything's going to push out and it's going to heal in itself. No, it isn't. I'm going to have a scar. Anyways, shout out to the grandmothers and all the moms with the special remedies, honestly. Let's talk about family and business. You know, starting off a business, it could be tough. And I know that we're, you know, sometimes we have the support from family and we don't. But at the time, were there people in your family base, like, you know, with mom that said, don't really tell people about our remedies. That's kind of our secret.
No. No, not at all. It's funny because I was telling you earlier when you asked me about my both sides, which is my Guatemalan and my Dominican. My Guatemalan grandmother was actually a nurse in Guatemala for many, many years. Rest her soul, Clara Bolaños. Just saying her name, everyone knows who she is. She was the one that told me about the clove of the garlic. All her stuff was natural remedies. But I don't really think it was more like, don't tell anyone. She was very open.
Oh, kind of like more reserved about it?
Not really, no. Not at all.
Because these are family recipes that you pass on. But I mean, I would hold it near and dear. Like
I do.
But for you to express yourself and to be like, all right, you know what? I want to share this with the world. That's admirable, because sometimes that's all we have left is traditions and remedies to pass on to your daughter, you know, and potentially her daughter in the future, you know, and vice versa and vice versa.
It's funny that you say that, because the other day I'm like, Mila, I need to detangle your hair. And she's like, with coconut oil?
How old is she?
She's 5.
She's 5?
She's 5, yeah.
She's already learning.
Yeah.
She's into the family business already.
Right.
What's been the toughest challenge starting a business as a female and a young entrepreneur, a single mother like yourself?
The toughest would probably be time. Because to be honest, I'm very blessed with the amount of shipments I've had and orders I've had. I honestly didn't think it was going to go like this.
Your support system is strong. Very strong.
And I'm very grateful for it in every type of way. And believe it, it's therapeutic for me now. But in the beginning, it was tough because, you know, with the whole COVID thing, now I have to homeschool my daughter. And then I try to do my best to get back to everyone. But I honestly didn't think it was going to end up the way it's been. Right. So I have my little cousin, Mia. She's like my sister that comes over and helps me. My mom helps me now. Yeah. So I have the help and I have the support. But there's times where I'm like, another 4 orders. Now it's 7. Now it's 12. And it's like, I just did 12. Yeah. So it's a lot. I think at the post office, they've already told me, like, have you invested in a computer, a scale, and a printer?
That's what I told you.
Yes. And I was like, I need help on it, Oscar, because in reality, I have a laptop. It's not the best laptop. Yeah. But I'm not the best when it comes to little things like that. You know, the whole scale and setting it up or whatever. But it's in the process. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'll have everything as well as a link. I have somebody in the process of doing me a website link. So I'm finally going to
Under construction.
Yes, under construction. So very soon I will have a link where you could just click, buy everything, use your credit card. PayPal is also going to be added to it, which is going to obviously make it way easier for me. Right. So it was kind of like this all came from nowhere. Yeah. And the thing is that I've been doing these batches for a very long time. Then I started handing it out to my cousin and then my neighbor, from my neighbor. Then, now my mom wants to try it. My sister wants to try it. When are you making batches again? Then I had a good friend, Carolyn of mine, that she was like, well, let me try it. And she tried the mask and the rice water. She loved it. And one day she was like, I know you heard this before, but why don't you start selling this? Like, you're literally distributing it all the time when you make it. Like, just sell it. And I was like, really? She's like, I think you'll do really good. And she was right. She actually even gave me the name Nat's Naturals. She was with it. She was like, do it. And I did it. And I didn't think it was going to go this good, but it actually did, thankfully. But it is overwhelming. So I think I wouldn't call it
in all the good ways.
In all the good ways. That's why I'm like, I don't really see nothing bad about it. Of course. But it's all good. It is overwhelming sometimes, but I get it done.
You know what? I can't say this enough. Like, we're in a pandemic. People are dying. 50 people are dying every hour from this. And here we have strong individuals that brave through to get up because we're dealing with mental health and, you know, and anxiety and depression. And here we have young, strong entrepreneurs that wake up and say, you know what, I have something. Let me put a label on it. Let me present it to the world. And here we are. And I can't commend the young entrepreneurs that have sat on this chair since we started this show, because we're talking about individuals that said, you know what, I'm not afraid of what's going on out there. I'm afraid of going to bed hungry. I'm afraid of not stapling a legacy for my family. And that is truly commendable. So I want to give all of you individuals a round of applause, honestly, because it's truly amazing. Like, I can't thank you enough for sharing, because we are our own worst critics. I talked to you about this. We are our own worst critics. We don't know what we don't know. And the Hispanic small business support system is slim to none. I was thinking about this the other day. I've reached out to a lot of individuals when I've had business ideas, and God knows if you followed me through social media, you know that I'm really inquieto, that I'm impatient when it comes to, I have an idea, let's launch it quick because of the unknown. And I've reached out to individuals, and I see, and it's intimidating, I guess, for a female to work with a man vice versa when it comes to what is the aspect, because they see that you're, it's either gun hole, all or nothing. My thing is, I want to commend the females that actually partner up with males and don't see some type of stigma, competition, or or they might have like this understanding of like, it's platonic, it's just business.
Right.
Let's get to it. Let's collab. Let's do something amazing because of the insecurities or whatever. And I just love, and here in this city, as a Hispanic male, to reach out to females, not Hispanic females, but other females that are photographers. I've reached out and I said, I have a clothing brand, and we've been, and I am my own worst critic. And when we launch, we're ready. But until then, the world, I just have to sit down and wait, because it's a part of our, it's the part of our inspiration, but the part of our insecurity as well that we're presenting to the world. It's our everything. It's our hard work. It's our thoughts. It's behind the scenes. It's not just a label. Right. It's not just presentation, glim and glam. It's everything. The dedication, the mission, the thoughts. Exactly. So when we and again, when you collab with somebody and they have an idea and you say, I want to bring that idea to life, it's a beautiful thing. Right. It's a beautiful thing. You're bringing this organic feel to fruition into life, and this is a beautiful thing. It's like some type of truth too. Right. In a way, like reality of things, Well, yeah, it's scary. You don't know the other side. You're on your vulnerable state. You don't know who you go into business with. You don't know if you have the support system of your family. You have critics. People that are afraid to do it are the ones that criticize the most. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're the ones that are judging. Yeah. And they're reflecting their insecurities towards you, and they criticize the most. They say, you know what? I could do this. I should have done that. This could be better. Do it. Competition is healthy for me. Right. I'm ready. It's a piece of fruit. Exactly. I'm ready. Like, what? I mean, tell me, like, the ups and downs. Tell me the struggles. Like, it's funny because I'm such like a humble, positive person in reality, and I feel like when it comes to that darkness... But you're passionate. I'm super passionate. But sometimes... You have to be for this business. Yes, you have to be. And if you let the darkness take over you, you should have never started from the beginning. Doors closed. There's no need. Because you know what? Negativity is there for a reason always. Mm-hmm. Negativity wants to see you fall. Negativity wants to see you get weak. Negativity wants to see you give up. Right. Don't pay attention to it. It's weak. Mm-hmm. The weak one is the negativity. Right. And if the negativity is trying to hit you, it's because somebody told me this. When negativity comes, it's actually them needing healing. Oh. In silence. It sounds like something I would say. Yeah. And so in reality, sometimes you have to sit down and be the bigger person and be like, just accept it and ignore it. Yeah. It's the best thing to do, especially when you're in business. When you're in business, that's you. So when it comes to you, you have to carry yourself in a certain way. You have to speak a certain way. You have to work a certain way. Because your business is what represents you. Mm-hmm. So everything else is nothing. That's not you. That's not your business. Right. So don't literally, don't lose your focus. Your focus is your business. That's you. That's what represents you. And I have to be thankful because when I started this, in reality, I was like, I'm going to just go for it. And I went on Google and I looked for like label stickers. And reverse engineering. I ended up finding out they're not even label stickers. They're just regular stickers that are shape stickers. And that's why I changed them into real label. But it's like, again, you learn as you go as well. So I'm happy where I'm at now. Honestly, nothing can stop me. Hey. Nothing can stop me. I like that. When you're dedicated and you have a purpose, there's not much that can bother you. Absolutely. Because you're set. You're set. And you know what you're going for.
But yeah, it's all been good.
When you just said that, you just had like, you looked straight forward. You had this tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And I see that. Like, I get that. Like, that fire, that tunnel vision is contagious. Cause you're like, you're itching. You're like,
and it's not like I'm trying to grow wings and fly. No, like this is a small business that I just started, making with my hands and
but
stuff.
But they
like
all
that.
start that way.
Yeah, and it's whatever God wants.
Right.
As I stay in the light and I do what I have to do.
Me, when it comes to business, man, I'm
and like, you're always gonna have your ups and downs.
Of course.
Nothing's perfect.
No, there's no manual that is handed down to you. You want to start a business? Here you go. Here's the step-by-step guide. Congratulations.
And you learn as you go.
You're in there. It's reverse engineering. Mm-hmm. It's the labels. It's the graphic designer. It's the, where do I get these bottles? What's the competition? What's the image? What's the plan? What's the inspiration? Who's the audience? Mm-hmm. What's the trend? What's the cost? Mm-hmm. It's so much more. And these questions don't stop. They don't stop. When I see you and I saw that tunnel vision. For everybody that's listening and that wants to start a business, I say, go for it. Reverse engineer what inspires you. And if it doesn't inspire you, then it's not for you.
Right. And you can't say you didn't try.
Absolutely. Because that, for me, though, it's the what if. What if I didn't? What if I did that? What if I went for it? And
you never lose if you think about it. Someone had told me the other day, you're not looking like a small business anymore. Okay. So I didn't know how to take it. I'm like, is that a positive or negative? She was actually being very positive. Yeah. And she said, no, you're doing big things. Like, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And then she said, I always wanted to try to do a small business myself. And I said, well, what are you trying to do? She said, well, I've always loved cute little jewelry, anklets, little wristlets, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, why not? Oh, well, I don't know where to start. Start looking at it. Grab a notebook like I did and write everything down. Mm. Oh, but I'm very... I'm an overthinker and this, that, and that. And I'm like, learn. You know why? Because you learn as you go. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. You can't say you never tried. Right. And look at me. I was like, do I have to do lives now? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do videos of me putting it in my hair? And now I'm more open to it. But in the beginning, I wasn't.
Well, some feedback would be you are an e-commerce platform. So as an e-commerce, it's not like you have people that are coming in. You're not a brick and mortar. It's not like people that are coming in and out of your storefront. Mm-hmm. You're actually the storefront via social media and all your Instagram and all your social media platforms. So essentially, when you go live and you're introducing these products, you're essentially opening your door for business. Allowing interaction is key. It couldn't have been a smarter way to start a business now in 2020 than to start a business that is a dropship and an e-commerce, because e-commerce is the way to go. You're not paying for overhead. Yeah, you have your cousin and your mom that's helping you, and eventually you'll have a strong team that will be behind you and they'll be on payroll. That's called overhead. Okay. And each individual that you're looking at, they'll be on payroll. But you're not you're not opening up a storefront where you're putting these products and you're paying somebody to watch these products, hoping that somebody would come in. Wow, the few individuals that are buying these products, you're paying for your location and you're paying for rent and you're paying for lights. It's a beautiful thing. You are a mobile business, which is awesome.
That's really in now, too.
Oh, of course. I mean, honestly, for the last 10 or 15 years, it's always been in. But because now we have every single platform that pushes us in our face. If you're not starting a business, what are you doing? It's more of the engagement with the individuals. You have a strong following. Again, remember, the products is a representation of you, but people believe in you. So when they buy in the products, they're buying a piece of access to you, right? Because they want to know, who is this mystery business owner behind those products? How can I have a piece of her engagement that I can connect to with that individual? That's all it is. It's a piece of you. And yes, when we first talked, it's a piece of your grandmother. It's a piece of your mom. It's a piece of your cousin. It's an essentially a family-based
right.
organization that is extending to potential new family members.
Right.
That's what it is. Guys, you're listening to First Gen American. I'm your host, Oscar, and we have our special guest, young entrepreneur, Natalie Caceres with Naturals.
Yes.
Excellent. These hair products are dope.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And I think I saw my wife's name on that box.
I think so too, actually.
Okay. So, I'm excited to try. We're definitely going to give a review about it.
Yes.
I think that the beard oil is not going to make it to my wife, but the rest of the products will.
She can use it. It's versatile.
Okay. I mean, as you know, I like a nice shiny beard. But tell me about, studying this legacy. Do you feel that you're doing this legacy? You talked about your daughter, saying, "Hey, Mom, are you gonna put coconut oil?"
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how that's been, transitioning and transpiring everything with your daughter and starting a business, and how has that been managing the two?
Mila's a good girl. She really is. I have no complaints with Mila, but a kid is gonna be a kid.
Yeah.
So it's been, like I said, what's really kind of overwhelms me is the whole Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Because I try my best, but it's hard. This whole COVID thing with the Zoom, and now supposedly they're saying they were supposed to go back for hybrid on January, and now that's not going to happen. Like I was telling you, they're going to keep them remote. So I thought that I would have that little bit of free time, but I don't. But I try my best. I really do try my best. Mila's a good girl. She always wants to help. She always wants to help.
I see her through your social media. She's adorable.
Yeah, I had her
She's
one time.
She's a mini you for sure.
Yeah, she is. She's a good girl. I had her one time try to put a label. Didn't work. But if she could, she would. So I feel like if this does keep going, they're going to get a little bit of love of Mila as well. Because as she grows, she'll learn. And she'll be my helper.
As you know, I don't know if you've seen on social media, I have two adorable little dogs, Osito and Simba. And potentially, I would want to talk about, how natural, because if I'm consuming these products, I feel like a lot of dogs,
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
My brother, I'm going to give a shout out to Olaf, his dog, and I hope he's watching. His dog has a lot of allergies. He's very itchy. Right. And he's always like, is it fleas? And it's not fleas. I guess it's in the breed as well. There's a lot of dogs that
chicken.
Yes.
Chicken. A lot of dogs. I didn't know that. A lot of dogs are allergic to chicken.
Yeah, even carrots, believe it or not. And carrots are actually very good for them. But there's a lot of dogs that are allergic to them. He was telling me, my brother Josh was telling me, Nat, you think that you can make something for my dog? And I'm like, what do you mean, Josh? And he's like, no, seriously, like, and I always tell him, Josh, Google stuff, like, literally do your research. And he's like, oh my God. So I put natural remedy for dogs with skin allergies. And I'm like, what did you get? He goes, a bunch of essential oils mixed with water and
Don't say too much. Don't say, because we haven't launched yet.
Right. So I was like, really, Josh? And he's like, yeah, make it and send it. And he's like, you should really look into that, because I had a pit bull named Rocky once, and and pit bulls are known to have very, very, like, the most allergic dog I ever had were American pit bull terriers. And I don't know if you remember, I used to rescue pit bulls, adopt them out, and foster. So, and almost all of them were always on a special diet. So that's another thing that I could do. And again, it goes back to the chemicals, the processing. It's all in their food. Yeah. And a lot of times it's like, what can it be? No, it's their breed. What food are you giving them? What dog shampoo are you using? Look at the ingredients. It could all be that, So it does go back to that. So that's a good idea, because my brother Josh gave me that good idea for his dog as well.
Jasmine, let's write this down, please, okay? Because we're gonna take her up on that, all right? I have two wonderful dogs that have a really strong presence.
What breed are they?
They're cockapoos. Mixed with poodle and cocker spaniel.
Do they itch a lot?
You know what? It depends on the treats. Like, we have these brands always. My wife, she's a social media juggernaut. She has these brands. My dogs get more mail than we do. Like treats or clothes or this or that, and we're like, it's all organic, and we're looking at the ingredients, and sometimes we look and give them a chicken treat, a freeze-dried chicken treat. And it's all natural. And then they eat it. And then 5 minutes later, I think Simba, now Sito, he doesn't have food allergies, right. But Simba, he'll start like itching his fur. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it must be the treat. So and we found out that he might be allergic to chicken. So it's crazy. But also I want to get deeper into it, Detangler, those guys, if they religiously go to the salon or the groomers, like my wife used to, before this whole thing, it's like, it's my wife and the dogs, everybody's going for a trip. And then, the detang, and then because their hair is so curly, they're, you have to brush them. And it's like, wow, these guys are high maintenance, but that's what happens when you get a poodle, because with their fur, their thick hair, but they have real hair. So there's a special shampoo and then a brightening. And I'm like, we go to this groomer. She does a great job, and it's tough to find a groomer with a specific cut and all this. And
usually they shave them low to not have to detangle.
My parents always want to know, like my family's like, how come you don't have kids? What? I was like, because I already have two that really, they need the undivided attention, and those are my boys. And God, but anyways,
even a remedy for the dog paws. You notice some of them.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Or in the wintertime, it gets cracked because if you're shoveling in the driveway, and what I used to do is I used to put salt.
That is so easy, Oscar.
But what I used to do is I used to shovel the driveway and I used to put salt down. Mm-hmm. But there's a special type of salt. If you have a dog and you're shoveling a driveway and you put salt down, you have to be careful, because if you take your dog out, it could crack their paws and it can hurt them. Mm-hmm. So you have to put this special type of salt down that it's paw friendly. It's amazing.
Dehydrates
and then when it dehydrates them, then you got to bring them inside. You got to rub. It's kind of like Vaseline.
It's like a pomade.
It's a paw balm is what they call it on their paws, and I'm like.
But the best remedy for that is organic apple cider vinegar. With
apple cider vinegar
and coconut, so it doesn't sting them, because that will really strip away all the salt and all them other.
Nat, you just gave a product away, Nat. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. Plug in your Instagram. Where can people reach you? Where can they browse?
The Instagram. So I'm trying to be shabby with the Facebook. I'm not. The most I use is Instagram, which is @_NatsNaturals. Mm-hmm. The link is going to be in the bio on my Instagram. I'm going to try to link it to Facebook. I'm not too, like I said, I'm not too shabby with Facebook. What I do is I linked my Instagram to my Facebook. So everything I post as in story goes back to the Facebook. That's the only type of merging I was able to figure out. Mm-hmm. But there will be a link to a website soon. What else? So as of right now, just, DM to order @_NatsNaturals.
We are going to launch First Gen Multimedia to help young entrepreneurs like yourself take care of all of that. I'm going to teach you, and we're going to partner up, and we're going to go all the way in to teach you how to run your business, how to start an LLC, social media. We're going to market. We're going to help you market it, product placement. We're going to help you with all of that.
The best. They are the best.
So we're going to help you with all of that, because we know. But the most important thing is that it's Hispanic run by Hispanics. And we're going to help you out, and we're going to keep going, because I've seen a lot of young entrepreneurs going on with them. So, Natalie.
Yes.
Natural Nats.
Yes.
What's your email?
So the email is, as of right now, it is, oh God, I made one up, I swear. It's on my thank you card. I don't have the NatalieNats@gmail.com. We'll make it up if we have to. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie with her organic products. Yes.
Killing it. This was a great show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for everybody watching. I'll upload everything.
And any specials coming on with the products?
Yes. So I have a refresher coming in, and it's going to be for a refresher for the hair, specifically for curls. A lot of people have been asking for that. Also a leave-in.
My sister's listening, so
also
she's definitely
leave-in. So all Excellent. Organic, all natural, the best of the best.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, First Gen American. Woo!